did.
Loc Talk. Loc Talk.
You did.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Loc Talk podcast with Karen and Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Karen.
How are you today?
Really good, really good. Thanks,
I'm
Goody, for joining us.
Yes, I'm so excited. This guest today, actually, we met her, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
2 years ago, I think. The last natural hair convention.
Natural Hair Industry Convention. This is how I know our guest. Our guest today is Susan Peterkin, and she joins us today. Hi, Susan. Thanks for joining.
Hi, how are you? Hello. Hi, Brian. Hey, Karen.
We're good. We're really
Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I love this. Susan, we were just trying to figure out how we met. So we're going to take it back a couple of years.
Okay.
You found me.
I found you. Yes. One of the things that I do for the convention, leading up to the convention, I find this is where social media has helped the convention. I look for instructors. I look for what they post. I look for what they stand for. I look for the integrity. I look at how they speak to their audience. And then, of course, the last thing I do is look at their work. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, that person is at the level that I want to teach at the convention. Well, so that's why I reached out to you.
And I want to just let our listeners and viewers know that what Susan is referring to is the Natural Hair Industry Convention, which I definitely want you to talk more about and explain to everybody how that sort of came to be. And then maybe we'll sort of bring me back into that and how that first happened.
Okay. So the Natural Hair Industry Convention was born in 2014. Myself and one of my colleagues, Angela Walker, we are both based in the Maryland Silver Spring area. Now, I am considered, quote unquote, an elder in the industry, and I've had my salon now 25 years. And Angela also has a salon in Silver Spring, Upper Silver Spring. I think her salon is going on 5, 6, 7 years or something like that. But anyway, two different generations. And I went to an event that she put on. And there was all these people there, natural hair, just standing around, but they didn't know what to do with themselves because there was, not too many classes and stuff. It was just, very new, talking about your natural hair, what to do with it, but it wasn't like well developed. So afterwards, I reached out to Angela and I say, listen, we need to do this for the professionals in our industry. You have these major shows, you have Cosmo Prof, you have Premiere, shows like that. And in at those shows, you get a sprinkling of natural hair. But we do things a little bit different. And I think we need more thorough education when it comes to directly dealing with textured hair. A lot of time in the regular cosmetology world, they deal with trying to straighten textured hair. So we need for natural hairstylists, braiders, loctician to learn, the biology, the structure, everything, hair care, everything to do with naturally textured hair. And that wasn't in all one hub. When we go to these other hair shows, you feel like a fish out of water because we have to walk around far and wide to find someone that's doing something pertaining to natural hair. So we need to have our own convention where we come together, network, learn from each other, uplift each other, so we can be more creative and go back into our neighborhoods and, and spread that. So that's how the Natural Hair Industry Convention was born. The first year in 2014, we didn't have a convention. What we had was a meet and greet. And we asked about 50 of the major folks in the industry to come together and let's just talk. We sat down and rested and we just spoke what does a convention look like to you? What do you think we should do? And we got a lot of ideas. We put them together. And then the following year, we had our first convention in Baltimore in 2015.
Okay.
So this will be, I think, number 6 or 7? I don't know. I stopped counting. So that's it.
Year? It's once. Once a year.
Once a year. But now that we've had COVID, there are a lot of opportunities, that's coming along, and now also doing the virtual made me realize how many opportunities we have to have continual classes. So we're looking into things like that. So, but hopefully someday we'll be able to meet up again.
I hope so.
Because there's nothing like that personal, one-on-one meet and greet, talking to, a person that you admire and look up to, know their work and stuff like that, and meet them in person. So,
well, Susan, we have to say that we were at the convention for the first time in 2018 with Loc Talk, and we weren't sure what to expect, and it was in Atlanta.
Yes.
Karen, myself, and our two other partners showed up at the hotel, and quite honestly, from the very beginning, like the first 10 minutes, we met Arlette, who's going to be on the show later.
Yes.
And just such incredibly warm, wonderful people. And until the very end, when we were packing our bags and leaving, it was a beautiful, beautiful experience.
Yes.
I remember getting to the airport and getting onto just before we got onto the flight to come back to Toronto. And it was in a ton of work, and we didn't really have a lot of time down for ourselves.
Yes.
And I just sat in the lounge at the airport, and I was just filled with this euphoric feeling.
Yes.
So amazing. And to meet all these people that had the same agenda,
Yes.
Move this forward.
Yes.
And whether it was locks or braids or, products, healthy products for natural hair.
Yes.
It was a really wonderful experience. So congratulations. And I hope with the virtual, I think you'll have more opportunity to
to reach people even more worldwide. We've had quite a few tickets sold already in Africa and the UK, so we attracted more people worldwide. So that's one of the advantages this year.
I really appreciate having been involved in an earlier stage in person. I'll never forget when you messaged me. I was in Iceland. Do you remember that?
I remember. Yes.
And I was actually working on my friend's hair, and I was like, I looked at my messages and I said, this can't be real. I was like, do they want me to come and speak at a convention in the States?
Yes.
I was so excited, and I gave it 150%. And then the fact that I came as Maud Locks and taught a class, and then we mentioned about noggin oil, and that's why Brian and the crew came with us.
Exactly. Yes, it's amazing. When you sit down and you think of all the networking that's done at the convention, and then afterwards all the collaborations that come out of the convention. That's exactly why we do it, to give more opportunities, because there's so many of us in our little corners of the country, the world, that's doing amazing things. But sometimes, you just need confirmation from your colleague. You know what I mean? Family giving you that confirmation, it's a good thing. But when you get that confirmation from your colleague who's going through the same thing, there's nothing like it. Of course, as Brian said, there's a euphoria when everyone leaves, like, oh my gosh, we learned so much. I can't believe I met this person and we did this. And, people are just so happy afterwards. It's just so that's what confirmed to us that we really needed to keep this going. Like, we really need to see each other and, confirm each other, just, make sure that when we leave, we go back out there and we just give it our all, because we have renewed energy.
Yeah,
well, we were also the only Canadians, I believe. So we were the nuts from the north. Oh no, there was one other, I think. But
I think there was another young lady there. Yeah. But she goes from back and forth from, I think, New York to Canada, I think. So
yeah.
I remember you were beaming the whole weekend. You were just.
I didn't look nervous. Sometimes people tell me I look so nervous because when I'm in like work mode, because one of the things that I can tell you about having the convention, I don't get to take classes, you know, I really don't get to meet everyone. It's always like, hi, how you doing? And, you know, I'm running around. So it's like afterwards just to sit down and reflect, you know, and I really enjoy when we get back home and we have pictures and the videos and we're like, oh yeah, this happened, that happened. Because so many things happen that you don't see because you're running here, doing that. So, you know, me seeing people posting afterwards and feeling good and hearing a conversation, that's when it confirms it for me.
Yeah, it's almost like a wedding day, you know, a blur, you know.
Almost, yes. It is, yes.
So
yes.
tell us how it's working this year.
Okay, so this year, we have 2 days on the main stage. Saturday will be from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. And Sunday will be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So on Saturday, when we open up, Saturday is just a day, a lot of main stage. We're doing like a My Journey series. Like I've chosen a couple of people in the industry who have just who have very inspirational stories and some challenges along the way, but still managed to, you know, come out on the other end. So trying to these journeys to encourage other stylists, loctician, braiders in the industry, like, hey, you might be going through a rough time, especially at times like now, but, you know, continue on that journey. You know what I mean? And you always have people that you can ask questions, turn back to. Here's a example. Few of the people we have on Saturday. One of the big things that we have on Saturday is going to be our collaboration with the Crown app. That's an actual app, not the act. APP. Yeah. So people have been. So we are. I think we did a couple of posts ago. It's an app on your iPhone or your Android, and you download it, and they break down their audience with hair texture and type. So now they want to fulfill the professional part of it. So now they came to us. So now we'll be the professional part of the Crown app. So if you're not familiar, download it. So through this app, we offer free main stage. So instead of going on to Eventbrite and paying the $25 to access the main stage, if you download the app, sign up for the app, then that app will give you the link to be on the main stage, to be a part of the main stage Saturday and Sunday for free. So that's a $25 off, right? And then on Sunday, we have about 20 classes, and all classes are on Sunday. We have 4 breakout rooms, and the classes will be taught on the Thinkific platform. So, you know, we will be reminding people throughout the day on the main stage, which is going to be a Zoom webinar, that, you know, this class is coming up, that class is coming up, make sure you go to your classes. But then Sunday on the main stage, you know, I like to pat the main stage because I always keep in mind that someone probably only just have $25. That's all we have. And if that person only has $25, I want them to be able to learn all day. So although it's not an in-depth class, they'll be learned and they'll be able to get information to connect with people afterwards. So we have several panel discussion on the main stage. Now, this is where we're going to have the Crown Act. And this one is the one that Dove and talking about hair discrimination and all that kind of stuff. They are our main sponsors this year. So they will be on the main stage, and we'll be having a few experts about the Crown Act, you know, who's been talking, Dr. Wendy Green, and a couple other people. Diane is involved, but I think she might be moderating. I'm not sure, but of course, Diane is definitely involved in that. She is the force behind that for the convention. And then we also have a dermatology panel with Dr. Yolanda Lenzi, Dr. Kendred, Dr. Meena Singh, and Dr. Crystal Agu, who's new this year. And that panel is going to be common types of hair loss and how to recognize them. Yeah. Right? Because, you know, we believe that, you know, as stylists, we're at the forefront of hair loss. And if we recognize hair loss very early, the majority of our clients can regain most of their hair. You know what I mean? So it's really up to us. So it's very important that we come and we know how to recognize the most common types of hair loss. We also have what we call the inheritance panel. This is a baby of Kafele. He came up with that, so he and Diane worked on that, about the inheritance of natural hair. So that's going to be another discussion. And then we have what we call the texturism panel, which I think is going to be very, very interesting, because there's a big deal now about texturism and texture, and is how it's just broken down. And personally, I feel it's another thing that's used to separate us, honestly. But that's only my opinion. But it's going to be a really, really good conversation.
Yeah. Yes. And it sounds like most of this is going to be all live Zoom panels.
Yes. Everything is live. Everything is live. Everything is live. We're thinking about afterwards to keep some of the classes on the Think of It platform, but we'll talk about it. I haven't really discussed it yet with the instructors. It'll be up to instructors if they want, because one of the things with the convention, that's the instructor's intellectual property. So, we'll have to figure out how they would want to share that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like a lot of really, really good information. It sounds incredible.
Yeah, I love to pack it. I love people to get upset with me and say, I couldn't get to go to that class. I couldn't go. I prefer that than someone tell me, oh, I was just sitting for like 30 minutes because, I didn't have anything to do. No. I want someone to say, I needed to see that, the main stage presentation, but there's this class. I want to hear that, because then I'll be able to bring that person back another time and do something else. You know what I mean? I don't want anyone to have any time to be bored.
Yes.
And when does it start?
So it's November 7th and 8th. And on the 7th, the main stage is 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we're going to end on Saturday. The last panel discussion will be a meet and greet the instructors. Everyone come on, talk to all the instructors, meet, ask questions, just say, hey, if you haven't caught up in a while. So that will be free once you either download the Crown app or you pay the $25 on Eventbrite.
Well, I'm downloading the app after this.
Yeah.
We want everyone to download the app. So we'll be promoting. And then on Sunday is like more things going on Sunday. We have 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. classes start at 9. And, as I said, we have the main stage is packed. Right now, Diane and I are trying to move stuff around because different people are trying to come in to do different things. And we're telling folks, so we're packed up on Sunday, maybe have a couple of spaces left on Saturday. But, it's going really well. And then the classes on Sunday all day. We have 4 breakout rooms.
That's cool. I like that.
And this year we use the slogan iconic, because as an industry, as a people, the world, we've been going through stuff, and we just like, coming out on the other side. There've been a lot of sadness and stuff, but it's just an iconic time. And I think that in the industry, we're all iconic. We all have our own path. We're going down there, but we also still spend some time, connecting with others. So we wanted it just to be like, okay, we're all iconic. We're all moving forward, because, speaking with a lot of the people in the industry this year during the pandemic, and how people are like kind of turning it around and, diversifying and reinventing themselves. I mean, I was just like, we're all iconic. You know what I mean? So that's what the theme of the convention this year.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So you also have a salon in Silver Springs, Jaha. I was reading about you, and that's been how many years?
Actually, this month, right now, it's 25 years. So so another transition. So about 4 years ago, I opened Peterkin Hair and Scalp Wellness Center inside of Dr. Shoshana Kendrick's practice. For the past 5 years, because I was more, moving towards getting away from behind the chair, thinking about more hair loss, I started just feeling like Jaha I wasn't satisfied anymore, even though the salon doing really well. I had really good people work for me. I just didn't feel it. But once I opened Peter Kindred, I realized, okay, this is where I need to be. So, after all these years, I've always done commission-based, and I wanted to step away more, have less responsibility. So I started the young ladies that I had left there on booth rent, and was just about to turn the corner. Because, when you come from commission-based to booth rent, that's a lot of money difference that you're not making. But I knew what I was headed for, so I prepared myself. But so I started to turn the corner. Money was coming back in from the booth rent and selling products and all that kind of stuff. And, me going back and forth from each salon. And then COVID hit. And, one Saturday, I'm laying up in my bed during COVID, Saturday morning, when I would have normally been at the salon at 6, 7 a.m. And I said, I like this Saturday thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like it, being home on a Saturday. And I said, I'm 55 years old. I've been in the industry 30-something years, almost 35 years. I say, it's time for a change. And at that moment, I decided that I cried. I decided it was time to give up Jaha and to concentrate more on Peterkin. And so I made the announcement. But Angela, who started the convention with me, she's always told me, that space that you have downtown Silver Spring, because I've been in that space for 22 years, the space that I'm now. I've been there 22 years. Everyone knows me in the neighborhood. Everyone knows me in the block. I'm a part of the community, stuff like that. And I was like, it's time for me to go. And she said, well, no. Let's do this. So what we're going through right now is we're transitioning. Angela now has control of Jaha Hair Studio. Wow. And I think it's only fitting because she's the younger generation. She just brings a whole new energy. When I go into the salon now, it's like, I don't even recognize the place anymore. It's like, and I feel so good. I'm more relaxed. It's not mine, but it's for somebody who I love and care about, who is taking over from what I started. So that's why we're making that transition right now. I'm still 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but by next year I'll be totally out and will be totally hers.
That's amazing. Wow. 2020 is about transition. And
yes.
It's about self-care and inward, perspective, and figuring out what you want to get out of life. And this has been such an eye-opening time, sort of a paradigm of the world.
Yes.
It doesn't surprise me in the least that this is the opportunity to move into a different direction.
Definitely. And now I'm working Monday to Friday in the doctor's office, keeping doctor's hours, as they say, you know what I mean? At 4, I'm pretty much done. I feel good. I have more time for the convention. And all these other projects that I put on the back burner, you know what I mean? So now I'm doing, different things. So, yeah.
And your company is Peterkin.
Peterkin Hair and Scalp Wellness Center. Yes.
I love the name. That is a fantastic brand. I've been telling all of our guests, I'm like, branding is so important.
It is.
And I'm a big geek about it. So
yes. We're getting ready to do some amazing things, Dr. Kendra and I. Yeah.
Well, I know I personally, hearing your story, feel that there's so much I personally am connecting with, and I'm sure our listeners and our viewers are going to be the same way. Like, everyone's rethinking, and I mean, the shutdown gave us all an opportunity to take a deep breath and analyze what makes us happy and what we don't want in our lives.
Yes.
So there's a lot of good that's going to come out of this, I think, eventually.
Yeah. And, just like this past Saturday, I literally spent all day Saturday just chilling with my mother and my sister and my dad, and we just talked and we ate on a Saturday. And when I realized it was a Saturday, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I was missing when I was at work on Saturday, and they would hang out and I wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? This is what I was missing. So it's a good feeling. I like it. Both my parents live with me, and I'm blessed to have them both with me. So it's like, getting all the time that I can with them is just so important.
The other thing that's ironic is last week we had at my salon, which I've had for 31 years.
Wow. Okay.
A workshop all about hair loss.
Really?
Yes. It's kind of ironic. And a lot more clients are coming in complaining.
Yes. It's an epidemic. Yes.
It's an epidemic. And I think a lot of it is due to stress, don't you think?
Yes. a lot to do with stress, but also a lot to do with a lot of, genetics that we didn't realize that, our parents or whoever had, some type of hair loss. But then we have a whole different set of grooming, what's the word that we do now that just, to me, makes the hair loss worse. Like, one of the things that people don't know about me is that before I became a cosmetologist and a natural hairstylist, I was a braider. And after a braider, then I was a loctician. And as a matter of fact, I was a loctician more longer than I've done anything else, because when my salon first started, 90% of my clientele had locks. And so, but when we first started, the things that are being done to locks now, and I'm telling you, doing locks for as long as I have and not seeing the amount of hair loss until we hit like the late 1990s and, coming mid 2000, that's when hair loss just starting like, what's going on? And then you see it on everyone, because everyone feel that the lock should be neat and should be twisted, and then it's twisted up and it stays in that position for 2 to 3 weeks and stuff like that. So you're seeing a lot more hair loss from everyone now. A lot more people wearing extensions, wigs, lock extensions. People treat lock extensions like hair extensions. You're not supposed to be in your hair because it's pulling on your natural. So, we just do a lot more things, to make this hair loss is just bigger and wider. So you're adding, the day-to-day grooming practices that we have, and you add that on top of the genetical and the environmental, stress and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, hair loss. That's,
it makes sense to me what you're saying, because I tell my clients all the time to not actually come in as frequent as they might think they should, or what they've been told to let the hair grow and to be healthy. And maintenance is absolutely an important part of the process to keep your locks healthy and strong. But over maintenance and that repetitive, stress on the hair, that tightening it's inevitable that you're going to have alopecia of some kind. But I'm so glad when I went to when I was there the first year at the convention, I actually got to sit in on the panel discussion with the dermatologist. Oh, I'm so excited. I sat there and I took notes. And I have a client, one in particular, she's been a client for about 6 or 7 years. And when I first met her, she was transitioning away from perming, and she didn't want to do wigs or extensions. And we started her locks. And at the time I said, if this is alopecia caused by chemical damage, you should get some of your hair back in time. And over the years, as I was working with her, we did not find that the hair was growing back. In fact, it was getting worse. And I mean, I've been doing locks for 20 years and I've never really had seen something like this. And she's Black, she's African. And so when I sat in the panel, sat as an audience member to the panelists, afterwards I came up and I talked to them, and they said, absolutely, it sounds like CCCA.
Yes.
Now, it's can you say what it is?
Central centrifugal cicatricial alopecia.
Yes. It is a genetic disease.
Yeah. It's the number one hair loss in Black women.
And when I told my client that, I texted her from Atlanta and I said, I think I know what it is. And so then I asked them for a referral in Toronto for a dermatologist, because again, you can't just go to anybody. You need to go to someone who understands natural hair.
Yeah.
So I connected her with someone in Toronto, and now she's on medication, and it's a work in progress, but it's going towards a solution, which we didn't have.
Yeah. And that's why it's important that we as stylists, the professionals in the industry, that we know, because unfortunately, when women and men think of hair loss, they go to their hairstylist and their barber. Hey, I've been losing my hair. You have anything I can put on it? Because we're still that generation that's castor oil or whatever it is, you know. But like here at Peter Kindred, you know, we recommend that you get a biopsy. You know, like if I didn't have a biopsy, I would just have felt like I just have one type of hair loss. I have two types of hair loss. You know, I have androgenic alopecia, which is female pattern baldness on the female side, male pattern baldness on the male side, right? And I inherited that from both my mother and my father. And
what
then
to inherit.
I know, right? You know, but then I always also inherited this amazing skin and stuff from my mother. So I'm gonna, you know, I'm okay. I'm not gonna complain. And then I have CCCA also. So I have the #1 hair loss for all women, and I have the #1 hair loss for Black women. Okay. So, but you know, and this started with me, you know, 15 years back, and I cut my locks because my locks was down to my waist. I cut it because I started to feel the pulling and the burning in the center. I'm like, something is going on. I don't, you know, like, but at the time I had thyroid issues. So I figured that was a part of it too. And it was a part of it too. But then once I met Dr. Yolanda Lindsay and she introduced me to Dr. Kindred, and I learned so much more from both of them, and just became, you know, it's just became one of my obsessions now, you know, and it's all because if I did 100 people for the week, I swear, Karen and Brian, it would be like 50% of the females, they had some type of hair loss sometime. And I'm like, okay, we have to stop and reset here. Something needs to be done. So we really, really, really need to learn, because the clients, they come to us first. And if we're still using some kind of topical that we got at the hair show, then the problem is going to continue to get worse. And if we don't realize that, if you put too much tension, you know, if the braider doesn't realize that, you know, the braids and the edges need to be thicker and wider, you know, with less hair, you know, just there's certain things that just need to be taught to protect people's edges and protect our hair.
Yes, absolutely.
Because unfortunately, it's big business right now. Hair loss is big business. So everybody is jumping in, and that's when people get taken. And then we have these devastating situations where we have women who come into the practice with almost no hair, and they are devastated. And if they had known like 10 years earlier, you know, something could have been done.
Yeah.
Because there's so many medication and procedures now for hair loss. So many.
That's great. I'm so glad this episode, I can't wait, because so many people are going to be like messaging us and messaging you and reaching out. I think this is fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm so happy. So again, just to remind everybody, so the Natural Hair Industry Convention is online. It's happening on November 7th and 8th. So this Saturday and Sunday coming. And it's 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and 8 on Sunday.
Yes.
And $25. But if you download the Crown app.
Yep. The main stage, is free. Yeah, and the classes range from $55 to $100.
Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Susan. This has been
wonderful.
Thank you,
guys. Thank you so much.
Susan.
It was my pleasure.
What's that, Brian?
I said good luck with the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time. Thanks for joining us. Loc Talk! Loc Talk! Loc Talk!
It did.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Loc Talk with Karen and Brian.